Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and it's going to be a nice change of pace to talk about something other than the crazy current events. But the weird thing is, if it wasn't for the crazy current events, we'd probably have one Disco Dylan Avery in studio. But because of this, we're staying 6 feet apart. Disco's a little worried. And he's doing it live.
I wasn't too worried, but I thought it would be funny if you could set up a shot where we're 6 feet away.
I think we Max in the studio. We got 3 feet maybe. I mean, we could have done it so like we were on the other opposite sides of the room, but that would have been jackassery.
Well, a channel I follow on YouTube, Red Letter Media, they do movie reviews, and their sets are just getting like more and more ridiculous with every passing episode. Like they're stockpiling toilet paper in the background. They have like caution tape up between them. Like it's pretty funny.
Well, hopefully, I mean, you're even a little bit further out than I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I guess before, let's introduce you to my audience that doesn't know. Obviously, this is Dylan Avery, writer and director of Loose Change, but we've also got The Magic Molecule and Black and Blue. We'll show you that later, but the reason we're having them on is there is a new trailer that has dropped via Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth at AE 911 Truth for 7, the documentary that you are working on via the Fairbanks, Alaska study. So before we get into all that, tell us when you think it's actually going to be done. People are going to be able to be available, and then we're going to show the trailer.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we're pretty close to wrapped up right now. I got a cut that's just under 45 minutes. I'm waiting. I filed a Freedom of Information Act with NIST for some stuff that I was supposed to have at least a response to in the last couple days. 4/17 was their deadline. I haven't gotten it yet. It's nothing. It's not a deal breaker. Like it's stuff that I technically already have, but like due to mastering in 4K and all that stuff, like if I could get it in a better quality, that'd be great. Because it's their press conference, which is available on the C-SPAN site. Mm-hmm. But there's also their technical briefing that they did, which was only hosted on their website. C-SPAN didn't broadcast it. So apart from the 2 low-resolution uploads of that Nathan Flack has up on his Vimeo, mm-hmm. You can't find them anywhere. So I'm hoping to get those in their original quality, and then I'll probably mirror them myself on Vimeo for people. So yeah, I'm just waiting on a couple materials. We just started having a conversation about some graphics that we might need for it to help explain things to the audience. I mean, there's one segment where Roland Angle, one of the engineers that we interviewed, he goes on like a 2-minute long, somewhat rant, just kind of admonishing NIST on all the things that they got wrong. And the scene is great, and there's some great music behind it, but it would be a lot better if there was like some visuals to go with it to explain because he's talking about like flanges and webs and girders and stiffeners and like
those stiffeners. Let me tell you,
stiffeners.
Well, I'm excited for it. All right, well let's let the audience check it out, and then I'll show you where you can find it. You can find Dylan's other work right now while you're locked down. Here it is, the official trailer for 7.
You didn't hear anything about the World Trade Center 7, not for a long time. And we'd never experienced, prior to that day, a steel frame building collapsing due to fire. It just didn't happen.
There was no excuse for rushing to remove debris from Building 7. There was quick decisions made about taking that evidence away. They only saved 1 piece of steel, and that piece of steel suffered some extreme temperatures.
Fire cannot cause that. There are other chemicals that were involved.
We did not find any evidence that explosives were used in the collapse of Building 7.
They ignored evidence, and it wasn't because they didn't know about it.
They seemed to focus on the solution right from the very beginning and ignore all evidence that would have led them in any other direction. There was just this silence in the academic world about this subject. So we began looking around for someone that would be willing to undertake such a study. We ran across Professor Halsey up at the University of Alaska at Fairbanks. He was very scientific about the way he approached this whole problem.
He wants to look at things from a very rational perspective, blocking all the noise out, which is really what is needed in this case.
If there is controversy, it means that not everyone's satisfied with the answer. If we can change that, if we can give the public and the engineers an understanding of truly what did happen, it's worth it to me to be able to do that work.
And there you have it, folks. 7, it's coming. Looks great, Dylan. Really excited to see that. If anybody wants to share that trailer, it's over at ae911truth.org. Let's plug Dylan's channel. If you're not subscribed to I Am Dylan Avery, you're missing out on all sorts of great stuff, including his Cats horror trailer.
Come on.
The Magic Molecule is for sale over on Amazon, as well as Black and Blue, so make sure to check them out as well. Let's talk about the release of this thing.
Sure.
What do you know what architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth are planning on doing? How they're releasing it? Via what? What are we doing for that?
Well, since it's a short documentary, as you know, the market for documentaries themselves is already a little tricky. So I don't think there's really any sales potential there. There is something that they're working on, though, where they are hoping, and I think this is public. I hope I'm not spoiling anything by talking about this, but they're trying to get a 5-minute version of it onto PBS, which would be pretty cool. So right now, like I said, we have a cut that's teetering on 45 minutes. I'm trying to hit a nice even 45. That's probably just going to go up on YouTube, and I mean, like, I might even just throw it up on my Amazon Prime free-to-watch account and just see how much traffic it gets there. But it's pretty much just going to be put out for free for people to watch.
I can't wait. I would tell you what, man, if you can put this together, I would love to do a watch along via a Zoom meeting with you as the director and then some of the people that you interview during this. After it gets released initially, maybe they give it, if they're going to give it away for free, maybe give it a week to get out there via their website. And then what we do is we do an actual watch along with everybody in the corner. And then we can take questions live on the air. I bet you we would get at least 2,000 people live on that stream and get some really good information out to people. So, you know, I'm all for getting this out there. I think that especially now with the algorithm so against people like you and me that are trying to ask actual questions and do actual journalism, you know, they demonetized my entire channel. Can't get
So you're still demonetized, huh?
Oh, they demonetized my entire channel. I can't get even super chats anymore.
I didn't know if you appealed or if
they don't let you appeal for 30 days. I did the survey and was like, I would love to be able to talk to a human being. By the way, because of that, guys, I need your support more than ever over at the GoFundMe. This is how I'm doing. We got to hit that 5K mark every month now. I mean, I don't know what else to say. You know, I'm trying to do as balanced. You love it, as balanced reporting as possible. You're in New York, but you're in upstate New York like I am. But I know that you have contacts down there. What is your take on the madness right now?
Well, I know my friend Donna. Yeah, I think you met Donna. She ran SMT Studios where we were doing some work on Final Cut.
Okay.
But she got it, and she was fucked up for like 2-3 weeks, and she says that she's still not back to normal. So,
did she go to the hospital?
What's that?
Did she end up going to the hospital?
No, she didn't. She couldn't. She had something where like she had the symptoms, but it was the thing where they told her like unless it's like life or death, like don't come in. Yeah, she had it. I think there's a couple like friends of friends that have it, but she's like the closest person to me that got it. But other than that, I mean, it's madness. I mean, I'm not getting a lot of like firsthand reports from New York other than just what I see on Twitter. I mean, to me, like Twitter is the best place to get news right now. I mean, I follow this guy in the crypto community named Bitlord, who was like raising the flag about this back in like January because he, I think he got caught up in like the travel ban or something. He's like, yo guys, there's this shit spreading around China right now. Like they're locking everything down. Like, I don't know, like this might be hitting the rest of the world soon. And he turned out to be totally right. And it's just one of those things where it's like, unless your finger is like directly on the pulse of what people are doing and saying, then it's kind of hard to get an accurate picture.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we haven't seen the type of militarization that I thought we would see, like, cutting off the city. Cuomo's doing a press conference right now. They just announced another under 500 deaths. I know a lot of people want to contest that, but the raw numbers are there, and people are, again, the 2 nurses that I'm talking to are real. I don't want to talk about this, but I am having James Corbett on to talk about the numbers.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I mean, Corbett did a really good video called Lies, Statistics, and Damn Lies. And kind of, this is what I don't think people get. And I want to just display this really quick, not get into it. This is the country, okay? This is the country. Now, in my state over here, we're going to circle it. We're going to zoom out, but let's zoom in again. That little itty-bitty state, New York. It's not little, but it's not big. That state has half of the deaths, basically, in the country daily. Or at least a third of them, if not a death, half of them. Now, on top of that, Dylan, okay, let's take a look at our itty-bitty state.
Little itty-bitty state.
Okay, so here's the whole state, and 90% of those deaths are coming from not even behind my head. Let's get out of the way. Right here. That's 90% of the deaths, all right? So let's put that into perspective. About half to a third are basically that black dot, and that's the rest of the country. So I get where people think, oh man, this is a hoax, this isn't really affecting people, but they also have never, first of all, they think New York State is New York City. It is not. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Like
that old chestnut.
I mean, you know exactly what I mean. You're a country boy like
I do.
me.
I know exactly what you mean. It was the same thing even out in LA. People were just like, oh, in New York, like, what's it like living there in Manhattan?
It's like, I wouldn't know because I'm not a crazy person. I don't live. And the other thing is they don't understand the density of the population in all the boroughs, like all those apartment complexes. The only thing that I could describe to people that's even close to similar is imagine that you're on vacation in Florida on a coast and all those nice resort stacked hotels are not nice resort stacked hotels. And instead of water, there's concrete and rundown playgrounds. That's what it's like in New York. And even those buildings sometimes seem small. You know that. I mean, some of the more upscale ones, I mean, people talk about buying condos. Those are in places that are 20, 30, 40 stories high sometimes. And that's unimaginable in any city compact other than there. And then the ghetto places that have like projects, you're talking about 6, 7, 8, sometimes 9, 10 stories, depending on how big the building is, sometimes bigger. So, I've never been pro lockdown. You know this. We haven't seen each other since the lockdown. But I also am pro reality. So I'm hoping I'm getting out of the state. I've been talking about it. This is it. This is it, man. After this is over, I'm looking somewhere else. Maybe Missouri, maybe North Dakota, South Dakota. I got to get out of here because I don't want to stay in my house all the time. What's your take?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a traveler.
Yeah, I mean, there's something that we were supposed to shoot for architects and engineers actually this month. On top of that, I was supposed to go to Peru for a project, and that's obviously off the table now. That was also supposed to be this month. So I don't know. I mean, I want to go see my mom too because I haven't seen her since Christmas. She's all the way down in Asheville, North Carolina. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not particularly thrilled or, I guess, excited. I was trying to think of a different word, but I mean, like, I don't know if going back to LA without like solid work lined up is an option.
There's no chance I'd go there either. I hate those people.
I do. I know. It's one of those things where it's like,
I need to listen, Dylan. I need to live somewhere with good internet, and when I walk into a place, I'm not gonna get 80 to 90% bullshit. LA is out. LA is out.
Yeah, most major metropolitan cities are going to be out.
They're out. They're fucking out. I'm thinking outside of Missouri, maybe Kansas City, but then again, I don't know. You know what I mean? Kansas City's right there. You probably live somewhere nice in Missouri. Find myself.
I mean, I got my 5 acres of land in southern Colorado. Like, I got to build that up at some point. There's a lot I got to do before it's ready. But
I was.
I got that. I started paying for it in like May 2017, and then I finally paid it off early last year. It was like $100 a month. It was amazing.
What?
So
wait a minute. Is there so obviously there's no electric or anything there? How far?
No,
off?
and it's Yeah, it's solar. It would be solar, and basically because the entire block of land that my parcel is a part of, it's all on top of a reservoir slash aquifer. So you have to drill for before you're even allowed to build anything. You have to drill for water, drill for septic. You have to get it zoned,
Yeah.
staked and surveyed. So I mean, you're looking at least 10 grand before you can build something. But then once you do that, you got water, you put up some solar panels, you got power, you're off the grid.
Well, look at you. Look at
Yeah.
you, Scooter Magoo.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Again, man, I'd rent first anyway, because you know me. I don't want to ever be tied down. I got the girls here now. That's kind of tough. I don't know if they'll come or not, but I've kind of started discussing it with my sister. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a tour of the country as soon as I can and just kind of live stream from the country and the news and stop at places. I mean, maybe Utah. They didn't lock down, and they don't seem to be that affected. They're not congested.
No.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know, brother.
And West Virginia had like no cases for a long time. It was crazy.
Well, again, did you see the study they did on the homeless guys?
No.
So in Boston, where there's another problem because there is a congestion in Boston and around Massachusetts. Boston sucks to drive in like DC sucks to drive in, folks. It's not great. It's actually
DC is comprised entirely of one-way streets.
DC sucks, but I don't. All right, here's the thing. DC sucks more because there's nowhere to park and there's a ton of people walking around everywhere. So it's kind of got that New York thing going to it. New York City, by far the worst place to drive, even though at least it's a grid. So you kind of get it because the people are it's fucking awful. Let me tell you something. Boston, you couldn't call that thing a grid. It's not so much the people. It's that you're like this way for like half a mile, not even, and then you got to go like 3 different ways to get back into a. Yeah, it's awful. With the Boston thing, so they tested 397 homeless people. Okay, 100 and I believe 47 or 36% of them all came up positive.
Jesus.
Wait, none of them showed symptoms, Dylan. They were all asymptomatic.
Really?
Yes. So, here's my contention. I think my main point, now studying the data in the United States, I think this is what's going to be proven when they start doing mass testing in New York, is that it's probably not, if it's any deadlier than the flu, in other words, more than 0.1%, right? Let's say it's 0.2 or 0.3. It might not have to be. It could be 0.1%, but be 5 to 10 times as infectious as the flu. So yeah, okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it doesn't have a higher kill rate than the flu, but 5 to 10 more people can get infected by it. And
then
out of those people,
spread it to 15, 20, 50
well, I'm just
people.
saying,
Yeah.
and be completely asymptomatic and have it and not know it. Whereas if you get the flu, you're never asymptomatic. But again, the chance of it killing you is not that great. You know what I mean? And it's not as infectious. So yeah, that's the other thing. You kind of know when you have the flu, when you're a little bit run down and it's happening for more than a few days, even if it's mild. You know what I'm saying? But again, that doesn't happen to a lot of people. When was the last time? Fuck, we've known each other forever. When was I ever like, Dylan, I've got the flu?
Knock on wood, but I can't even remember the last time I had the flu. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I've had colds, I've had like mild sicknesses, but like full on flu status, knock on wood, it's been a minute for me.
Well, the other thing is, me, I've got a lot of phlegm. I spit a
You
lot.
are pretty phlegmy.
I'm a phlegmy guy, so like people
You're a
look at
phlegmy
me
guy.
like, oh my God, he's coughing. It's like, no, brother, I literally have mucus coming out of my body all the time.
Every time I'm walking around a store and I cough, I like look around and I'm like, is anyone like eyeballing me? I'm about to get thrown out.
Well, I mean, are you at the point yet where you like to walk into Walgreens, I got to wear my mask?
I rock my bandana.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is a bandana. Come on. So let's get back to the film. And by the way, thumbs this video up, guys. I know that it's a little loose, but this is what me and Dylan do usually. Usually we take your questions, but not today.
Not today.
Not today, friends. Not today. So you're thinking what? You're gonna wrap this up by mid-May?
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy. I mean, I want to give NIST a little bit of time. I mean, I don't. it's not a deal breaker, but like there's a specific point in the technical briefing where Shyam Sunder is questioned about the one piece of steel from Building 7. So that's a piece that I'd like to get in there. So it's a couple things, like I said, not deal breakers, but I'd like for them to be in there before we release this thing. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty close to done. Like I said, I got 44 minutes. There's a couple things I'm tightening up.
Well, I'll say this too. Obviously, I'll reach out to Gage and others that I've had on. But in the run up to this, even before they release it, and then hopefully we can do that screening, I'd love to have anybody that's involved with the film on for a 15 to 30 minute interview, talking about their part, talking about the Fairbanks, Alaska study, anything to just kind of promote this thing. So
yeah, Roland is probably going to be your best bet because he's kind of the PR arm of architects anyway. I mean, obviously Richard does a lot of stuff, but like Roland's really become like the representative of architects and engineers.
Well, send me a list of emails via like a Facebook or whatever, and I'll reach out to them myself, and try to get them on.
Yeah, Halsey might be tricky because his schedule's kind of all over the place, and he's a professor, obviously. But Roland, you could almost certainly get.
Yeah. Who's really professing? Maybe some Zoom meetings.
That's true. I mean? Well, but he does a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, even if he's not on campus teaching, I'm sure there's other stuff he's wrapped up in. I mean, even when I was there in Fairbanks trying to meet up with him for some quick follow-up stuff, it took like 2 days just to get a hold of him.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, la-di-da, Mr. Frenchman.
Mr. Frenchman.
So, while I got you on here, what's your take on these emails? Obviously, so the whole thing
haven't looked into it enough. Don't know enough about it.
Well, so my audience is asking me. I'll give a hot take now, but I'm going to do a full video on it. Apparently at like 1 a.m., not this morning, but yesterday morning, it wasn't emails that were necessarily put out there. It was a long list of usernames and passwords via the NIH, the CDC, the WHO, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, etc. So basically it was their usernames and their passwords that were there. And as soon as they figured out that this was real, Reddit took it down, Twitter banned anything to do with it. So I had no idea what I was doing getting ready to do my first video of the day yesterday. Dutch guy reaches out to me and asks me about these Gates emails, if I've taken a look or know anything. And I think he's talking about the event or documents. He says documents. So I think he's talking about Event 201. Yeah, I was like, no, man. This happened, and I was like, get the fuck out of here. So I start looking for it, and I can't find it anywhere. You know what I mean? It's totally not there on Twitter. I'm trying to put in keywords, hashtags, latest, can't find anything. So then I talk about it on air, and one of the Reddit guys, because I do find, before I go on air, this broken Reddit link, right? And I'm like, oh, snap. And it looks, at the time, I haven't refreshed it. It was 12 hours ago, and I saw how people were like, basically saying they had the users and passwords. But it's like something like 25,000 usernames and passwords.
That's crazy.
Exactly. So now, a day later, the media is finally admitting it's real. Right? And well, they're admitting it's real.
I want to let you finish, but I have something to dovetail off of that.
Yeah, but the problem is there's no emails, at least that I know of, that have been released. And now it's kind of a Pandora's box. And I'll get into why I think that they released the addresses and stuff of all these people instead of the actual emails. But it's a Pandora's box of this. Now it's up to like all the other Anons that might be breaking the law and being that, counterintelligence 2020 to 2022, hacktivist or leaktivist, because you went in and you got the emails, right? So now you're like basically Al-Qaeda, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, whatever you want to call it. That's one. But number two, it creates plausible deniability where if all the relevant emails are not released, the people that probably had all this information already probably scraped them, I would imagine. Now, maybe they didn't, and they're hoping. Here's the third thing. It gives room to all sorts of hoaxers.
Yeah.
All sorts of hoaxers. Now, don't get me wrong, there will be people that will try to prove that their things are real with metadata, etc. But until it's really looked at, you're also going to have a lot of hoaxsters to try to make a name off of this and see, look, it's proof. I've got the Gates email where he literally is going to put the microchipped demon semen nanobots into my body. Which may be true. I don't know.
I mean, look, here's what I was gonna say. Like when this shit first started breaking out, and of course everybody was hitting me up, and they're like, "Oh, what do you think about the coronavirus? What do you think's going on?" And I was like, "Look, no, I don't think this is intentional. No, I don't think that this is like a deliberate false flag. Literally the only thing that I could think of that I would consider to be plausible is that this is some kind of bioweapon that somehow got out.
Somehow?
I don't know how it got out
with that, Dylan.
But
hold on, let's stop. Here's the problem with that. That's now the narrative that Sean Hannity is fucking pushing.
I know, but that's my point, because like when that because Zero Hedge got kicked off of Twitter for that when he was posting it in like January, and everyone he got fucking erased from Twitter for saying it, and now it's like headline news on like Fox and CNN.
They act like Judy Miskovich. There's that Epic Times documentary about the CCP and the origin of the virus, and people are still sending it to me. And I've been waiting for Robbie Martin to watch it because I want to do a full review with Robbie, because I have watched it. It's got a lot of great information in it, but then it just assumes, because it broke out in Wuhan, that it must be an accidental leak. And here's the accidental leak theory really debunked. However, the bioweapon thing with the HIV sequence, and now you have the 2008 Nobel Prize winner, one of the guys that discovered HIV/AIDS, saying the same thing, that it had to do with machinery. Here's the problem with the leak. They're now identified 3 strains of it, not 2. Okay, and you could call them mutation or whatever, but it's so weird that the A strain hit the United States of America first. And it's so weird that the deadly B strain was in China and Iran. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing. And bioweapons programs are not new. They're not just in China. They're not just in America. They're not just in Israel. They're not just in South America. They're not just in Russia.
Every country has a bioweapons program. I mean, come on.
Thank you. And all I'm saying is there's been plenty of assholes out there at the top who have hard-ons for saying shit like, I want to be a virus when I come back to life. A lot of assholes out there.
Yeah.
And this is the other thing. You don't need like a nation state to release it. All you need is a shitty network of fucking guys that need money in the intelligence community, because now guys like Edward Snowden, they didn't work for the CIA. They worked for Booz Allen Hamilton. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't work for the Mossad. I work for Harvey Weinstein and Black Cube. We could continue. You know what I'm saying? So in this network, that's the whole thing. The nation state thing is a problem for me, because obviously China lied, right, about the numbers. But now it's the communist.
Yeah, like China has 1 billion people, 1.6 billion,
1.
I think.
2.
And yeah. 1.2. And yeah, they're saying they had like 20, 30,000 deaths. Like, come on.
Not even. Dylan, up until last week when they doubled the numbers, they were like 3,000 deaths. 3,000. Exactly. And we saw the videos that leaked out of China. Remember how hard that was? They were spraying the fucking streets, those people. But then again...
Well, how about the guys in hazmat suits with fucking assault rifles? How about those guys?
Yeah, but you know what? You got to think about this. Those guys aren't necessarily even police or whatever. They could be, but those could just be some corrupt killers. Think about this.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you have no idea.
You don't know. But what was real, it wasn't corrupt killers that were spraying down those streets or entering homes and putting people in police boxes. You know what I'm saying? With the China thing, though, and believe me, I'm not pro-China, but now you get to set it up as the new, world war. China, evil communist China versus the United States. We're in America, motherfucker. We do it right, and we do it first. We do it right, and we do it first. And while this madness is going on, I got Pompeo licking his fucking chops over here, literally just did a press conference, talking about China, Trump just tweeted about gunboats in Iranian waters, how if any of them approach, they're just going to shoot the fuck out of them.
Yeah, I saw.
And then on top of that, it's like, by the way, Maduro, we're taking you down too. You're bad. You're drug running. Yet Epstein kills himself in a cell. I mean, I don't know if you've been watching, but I've been talking to Maria Farmer behind the scenes, who went to Epstein, or went to the FBI and NYPD about Epstein in '96. Not good things, Dylan. Not finding out good things, Dylan. It's weird how I'm not finding out good things.
I don't imagine you will, no.
So what's next for Disco Dylan Avery, other than a lockdown lifestyle? Are you? I mean, are you going to stay in upstate New York, or what's the deal? What's the next project, etc.?
I honestly have no idea. Like, there's not going to be any weddings until the fall, if there are any. So, I mean,
And by the way, that's how you keep afloat, because the documentary business is not so lucrative, guys. Just so everybody knows. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know,
It does all right.
shooting and editing weddings, you know, you get a nice paycheck, you know what you're getting paid for the weekend, you know, it's nice steady income.
Yeah.
But not a lot of that going on right now. I've already had like 3-4 shoots canceled and one edit I was supposed to do. So I don't know. I mean, I'm hanging for the meantime. Like I said, I don't even know if I went back to California what I'd be going back there for, other than some of my friends and my stuff that's in storage, which I still got to figure out. Yeah, I don't really know. I'm just kind of going along with it. You know, 7's going to come out. Like I said, I got that 5-minute edit to do on that for PBS. I don't really know. My perspective for the year is drastically different than it was at the beginning.
Yeah,
like I was going to the gym, you know, like I was. Going to
I'm doing it.
like
the girls are in there doing P90X, bro. We're doing it. We got the barn. we're hook, uppercut, sidekick. We're doing it, baby.
Yeah, is that the regimen?
Well, that's part of it. I mean,
okay.
Listen, I'm trying to spend as much time as I can with the girls, because this sucks for them too. You know what I mean? They don't get to be with their friends. We walk down to the park. We take the dog. It sucks for everybody. And the thing is that, you know, as it rolled out, it will roll back in different places. I'd love to say I can get out of the country, but that's probably not in the cards, you know? So I'm just going to try to look for a place that gives me more freedom than New York State, because this is fucking ridiculous. And I know I can afford to live somewhere else in the country while this goes on. I suppose, Dylan, you could just make more Cats horror trailers. Again, folks, we're putting that link in the description right now.
If it caught on, I feel like it needs to get posted on Reddit somewhere, because like it's got some traction on YouTube and a bunch of comments, but like it didn't take off the way I know that if someone else did it, it would take off. But you know, whatever, it's fine. It's fine.
Well, the other ironic thing about this, right? For instance, I know.
I'm sure that video will get a bunch of dislikes now that I said it. But
whatever. I just tried to get Patrick Henningsen of 21st Century Wire on, because he's got a new article about Peter Thiel and Palantir and this app that's now going to be like a new track trace database app they're going to use in conjunction with the coronavirus, but you know they'll use it for other things later via the Trump administration, because he's the technology advisor. And as far as I know, I haven't checked, but we'll do it live, Dylan. We're
doing it live.
Bilderberg, as far as I know, is still postponed. They did re-put up their website.
Oh yeah, I mean, why would that still be going on?
Yeah, no, it's totally postponed. But, you know, he's one of those chairmen, you know what I mean? He's that guy. He's on the board, and he's a steering member. Basically, he's one of those globalist guys. Now, that along with Apple and Google, who have worked in conjunction with China, let's not forget Dragonfly, the NSA, all this military-industrial complex apparatus for the predator class, in my opinion. He's going to introduce this nationally. I mean, we already have so much following us, and China has implemented their social credit score. They're going to do the same thing here, and that's going to be part of the solution, because you can't just keep printing, hey, let's print another $300 billion this week. I heard about stimulus 3.5, and we're going to have
couple trillion a week at this point. It's fucking ridiculous.
Look, it's always been a bubble waiting to collapse, right? I mean, it's always been, and now they have inflated that bubble so much that the only solution at some point would have to be massive physical warfare against another nation state like China, who we owe a ton of money to. And that's not going to happen, hopefully. Unless you let the media hype up those fuckers in Wuhan. They're the ones that released the bioweapon, the Hannity style. But, Hannity won't even call it a bioweapon. He just keeps saying it leaked from a biolab, and he still goes with the bullshit story that it's leaked from a biolab into an animal, into the wet market, into a pangolin.
It wasn't a bioweapon. It just leaked from a place where they are producing bioweapons. That's all.
Well, the spin is that it was they were studying it for a vaccine into HIV. So they were looking at this this
that would explain the HIV protein, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So they get to spin it. No, it was a good thing they were doing this. They were trying to save the world. And unfortunately, a little bit leaked out. Just leaky.
A little bit of leak.
All right, we've been doing this 35 minutes. What do you want to leave my audience with, my friend?
Stay safe, be healthy, and
check out the Magic Molecule, huh?
Check out the Magic Molecule, the Black and Blue, the professional CV Blatt story, the 4'11", which is on YouTube. Whatever. You got some time, watch some stuff. 7 should be coming out in the near future. That'll be exciting.
And guys, just so you know, 7 is just on this paper that is basically debunking the lies of NIST. There's not a lot more to it, is there?
No, I mean it's a refresher course on 7 for some people. It's a two-pronged approach because I didn't want to do a rehash of 7, but I also have to familiarize anybody who might be watching it who isn't aware of 7 because we don't want to just preach to the choir with this. So there's a little bit of a refresher here and there, but it's basically a two-pronged approach between Halsey's study out of Fairbanks and the failures of NIST, essentially. So
looking forward to it. All right, guys. Yeah. Once again, I am 100% demonetized on YouTube. I probably won't get to appeal. When I do, they're just going to shit on my face. So $5, $10, $15, it means the world to me. Make sure that you're following me on the Twitterverse. Let's go to the profile here. And remember, I am a documentary filmmaker. So is the other guy I've been talking to. Loose Change Final Cut. You can go check that out in the playlist section under documentaries, along with Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, and Shade, the motion picture. We lost a lot of subscribers this week, guys, and that's okay. We can lose a lot more. I want to let people know I'm going to have Steve from Slow News Day on later today, and that we are going to have Corbett on to talk about all the numbers and all the madness on Sunday. And, me and Corbett, everybody thought that, somehow we were going to get into some kind of feud. I love James Corbett. I think he does great work. It's okay to
Why would you guys feud?
What's that?
Why would you guys feud?
Because, again, people equate, they think because I think this is a real virus killing people because I'm talking to the nurses and I'm seeing the bodies and the amount of people that are being buried at Hart Island is tripling and that, bodies are being picked up in neighborhoods in Enterprise Renovans with the military. And I'm talking to National Guardsmen that are being deployed, all these things. They think because of that, I'm for the lockdown and I'm pro-tyranny. And I'm fear-mongering because I think that this isn't like 5G or something else. You know what I mean? And so, me. I mean, we were talking about this. We've done videos where we were joking about this back around Christmas time, I think, right? Definitely in that area. And we talked about it even at that time possibly being a bioweapon. And we were talking about it, hoping it didn't come here. But the bottom line is, we were discussing it, and the 5G stuff was already out there. I've seen nobody, able to plausibly put that together. I mean, these devices would act like a conduit anywhere. I don't even want to get into those things, but it doesn't mean that 5G is a good thing.
If it's being spread by 5G, why does it exist in countries where they don't have 5G?
Again, but that's the whole thing. They'll say there's no test for it, and that does have, I talk about the testing and the flaws in the testing and the RNA sequence. I had Shiva on for an hour. I've tried to put out as many solutions as possible, but because I just think that this is real and people are dying, even though I'm trying to show people, there was one in a 37-day period, there was 17,000 more dead in New York City than the year average. It's crazy, right? They think that I'm a shill. And I don't know what to say to that. You know what I mean? They think because they watched a video of somebody outside or in the lobby of a hospital and it wasn't like people dying in the hallways that they're lying.
Hashtag film your hospitals.
Yes. Oh, dude, that guy, did I tell you about that? I don't really want to get into it. We could talk about it off air. We have
We'll
to
talk about it off air.
Yeah, we'll talk about it off air. We've rambled too much. I didn't even want to get into that stuff, but it's always good to talk to Dylan. Again, 7 coming. I love you guys. Thumbs the video up, subscribe, join the Burmese Brigade, and I will see you on the flip side.